You ever notice something? When people ask how you're doing, you don't answer emotionally. You answer financially. I'm good. Meaning, you're earning. I'm managing. Meaning, money is tight. It's been tough. Meaning, income dropped. Nobody says, my peace is stable. My integrity is intact. My purpose is compounding. We measure life in cash flow. Welcome to Life and Ledger, where we stop pretending money is just money. Money is identity. Money is pressure. Money is relationships. Money is trauma. Money is validation. Money is power. And tonight, we're auditing everything. 1. Your life is a financial statement. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. If your life was a company, would you invest in it? Or would you say, high revenue, poor management? Because some of you are generating income, but internally, you're operating at a loss. You earn 800,000 Nigerian Nairas monthly, but your peace is bankrupt. You earn $5,000 remotely, but your marriage is depreciating. You're building assets, but losing alignment. And nobody taught us how to balance both, especially not in Nigeria. In Nigeria, survival comes first. Healing comes later. Therapy is luxury. Rest is weakness. Vulnerability is risk. So what do? We hustle, and we call it ambition. 2. Income versus identity. Let's talk about something real. Who are you without your salary? If they strip your title, if they close your business, if Forex wipes your account, if the contract ends, who are you? Because some of you aren't building wealth. You're building ego insurance. Your car isn't transportation. It's validation. Your apartment isn't comfort. It's proof. Your Instagram isn't sharing. It's branding. And when the money dips, you panic. Not because you can't survive, but because you don't know who you are without applause. Here's the dangerous part. When identity equals income, volatility equals emotional collapse. That's why layoffs break people mentally. That's why failed businesses feel like personal rejection. It's not just money. It's self-worth. 3. The hustle trap. Let's break something down. There's a difference between building wealth and chasing survival with better aesthetics. Some of you upgraded your struggle. You used to stress in a small apartment. Now you stress in a bigger one. You used to worry about rent. Now you worry about school fees, car payments, and maintaining image. Lifestyle inflation is quiet, but it's lethal. And social media makes it worse. Especially platforms like YouTube. Because now, everyone is winning. Everyone is traveling. Everyone is closing deals. Nobody shows overdrafts. Nobody shows panic attacks. Nobody shows family pressure. So you think you're behind, but you're comparing your raw footage to someone else's highlight reel. 4. The silent pressure on men. Let's talk about men for a minute. There's a sentence I hear often. A man's value drops when his money drops. That belief alone has destroyed mental health across continents. Because what happens when business slows? You withdraw. You become distant. You feel ashamed. You avoid gatherings. You stop dating. You question yourself. But here's the truth. Provision is important, but it's not personality. Money amplifies. It doesn't define. If you're kind broke, you'll be kind rich. If you're insecure broke, you'll be insecure wealthy. The bank balance only increases the volume. 5. Dating and financial reality. Now let's step into relationships. Should someone date while broke? Depends. Are you broke temporarily or structurally? Temporary broke. You're building. You're disciplined. You're improving. Structurally broke. No direction. No responsibility. No urgency. There's a difference. Love is emotional. Marriage is economic. And ignoring that is naive. Psychologist Erik Erikson talked about stages of development. Identity before intimacy. Meaning, if you don't know who you are, you'll attach to avoid being alone. Some people aren't in love. They're in financial fear. 6. Debt, the hidden anxiety. Let's go deeper. Debt is heavy, not just financially, psychologically. You wake up thinking about it. You avoid calls. You delay messages. You pretend everything is fine. And sometimes, the debt isn't even yours. Family pressure, cultural expectations, helping siblings, funding weddings, supporting parents. You become the emergency fund of everyone. And nobody asks if you're okay. Debt can be strategic, but it must be intentional. If you borrow to invest, that's leverage. If you borrow to impress, that's ego. And ego is expensive. 7. The internal audit. So tonight, we audit. Ask yourself, what are you sacrificing for money? Sleep, health, integrity, relationships, peace. Because one day, you'll look up and realize you built a profitable life. But you're emotionally insolvent. We're only one chapter in. And this is just the beginning. In the next part of Life and Ledger, we'll break down ambition versus peace. When enough is enough. The digital money illusion. Faith and morality. And how to actually design a life ledger that balances. Part 2. The cost of more. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. How much is enough? Not hypothetically. Not motivationally. Actually, what number makes you breathe differently? 1 million Nigerian Nairas monthly? 5 million Nigerian Nairas? $10,000 remote income? Financial freedom at 40? Because here's what I've observed. The number keeps moving. When you earn 200K, you dream of 500K. When you hit 500K, you aim for 1M. When you reach 1M, your expenses magically rise to meet it. It's not greed. It's exposure. 1. Ambition is addictive. Ambition feels noble. It sounds productive. It looks admirable. But ambition, unchecked, becomes addiction. And addiction always demands more. You don't celebrate wins anymore. You evaluate them. Good month, but could have been better. You don't rest. You optimize. You don't enjoy. You scale. Some of you don't even know how to sit still without guilt. Because rest feels like regression. But here's the truth. Productivity is profitable, but peace is priceless. And you can accidentally trade one for the other. 2. The corporate ladder illusion. Let's talk about the ladder. Promotion, salary raise, title upgrade, bigger office, bigger responsibilities. You climb and climb and climb. And one day you look down and realize you're higher, but not happier, because you optimize for status, not alignment. There are people earning less than you who sleep better than you. There are entrepreneurs earning less than corporate managers, but owning their time. There are freelancers who make less, but live anywhere. Money isn't just about amount. It's about control. If your income controls your time, you're employed by your lifestyle. 3. Entrepreneurship is not freedom by default. Let's balance the narrative. Entrepreneurship isn't automatic freedom either. People romanticize business ownership, but business is responsibility multiplied. Payroll, rent, taxes, clients, reputation, risk. Some founders make millions and haven't taken a real vacation in years. Some are publicly successful and privately anxious. Freedom is not tied to employment status. Freedom is tied to financial design. Do you control your schedule? Do you control your commitments? Or are you just reacting to pressure? 4. The peace metric. We measure revenue, growth, assets, investments. But we rarely measure peace. Let me introduce a metric. Peace ROI. Return on intention. If you're earning more, but your anxiety is rising, that's negative ROI. If your income doubled, but your marriage is strained, that's negative ROI. If your status improved, but your character declined, that's negative ROI. Because the ledger isn't just numbers. It's alignment. 5. I'll rest when. You know the phrase. I'll rest when I hit this milestone. I'll relax after this project. I'll enjoy life after I scale. That finish line keeps moving. And life doesn't pause while you chase it. Parents age. Children grow. Friendships fade. Health shifts. You can't compound lost time. There's no ETF for missed presents. 6. The comparison spiral. Now let's address something dangerous. Comparison. Especially in the digital era. Platforms like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. You see 25-year-old millionaires, 30-year-old tech founders, 28-year old property investors, 22-year, old Forex gurus. And suddenly your progress feels slow. But here's what you don't see. Debt, family support, inheritance, timing, luck, editing. Comparison steals gratitude. And gratitude is stability. 7. Rich versus wealthy. Let's define something clearly. Rich equals high income. Wealthy equals low dependency. Rich is flashy. Wealthy is controlled. Rich spends to signal. Wealthy spends intentionally. Rich feels pressure to maintain image. Wealthy feels comfortable declining invitations. If your lifestyle requires constant income to survive, you're rich at risk. If your lifestyle is sustainable even during slow months, you're wealthy in mindset. 8. The hidden cost of success. Nobody talks about this. As you grow financially, expectations increase, family dependency increases, social pressure increases, invitations increase, requests increase. You become the solution. But who solves you? Sometimes success isolates you. Because people stop relating. They either admire you, envy you, or depend on you. Very few understand you. And isolation can be expensive emotionally. 9. The enough conversation. Let's pause. Close your eyes for a moment, metaphorically. Imagine your bills are covered. You can support your family. You can travel occasionally. You can invest consistently. You can sleep peacefully. Would you still chase more aggressively? Be honest. Ambition is powerful, but clarity protects you from self-destruction. 10. Designing a balanced ledger. Here's a framework. Every major decision must pass 3 tests. Does it increase income? Does it increase peace? Does it align with long-term identity? If it only increases income, reconsider. If it only increases comfort, reconsider. If it aligns with all 3, proceed aggressively. In Chapter 1, we audited identity and debt. In Chapter 2, we questioned ambition and peace. But now, we need to talk about something even more powerful, the digital money illusion. Because the internet changed the ledger, and not everyone is prepared. Up next in Chapter 3, the creator economy myth, remote work realities, freelance survival, psychology, passive income, lies, why discipline beats opportunity, and how to actually build modern income streams without losing your sanity. 10 years ago, your income options were limited. Job, business, maybe a trade. Today, you can earn from your bedroom. You can consult globally, trade markets, edit videos, code apps, sell digital products, build an audience. The internet democratized opportunity, but it also multiplied delusion. 1. Opportunity is louder than discipline. We are living in the loudest income era in history. Every week there's a new wave. Crypto, drop shipping, Amazon, FBAI, tools, Forex, content, creation, affiliate marketing. And every wave promises speed. Speed to income, speed to freedom, speed to wealth. But here's what nobody advertises. Discipline is still the bottleneck. Platforms like YouTube make it look easy. You see someone monetized. You see ads running. You see brand deals. But you don't see 2 years of uploads with no traction, burnout, algorithm, confusion, creative exhaustion, income volatility. Opportunity increased, but stability didn't. 2. The creator economy myth. Let's talk honestly. Not everyone is meant to be a creator, and that's okay. The narrative online says, build your personal brand, monetize your knowledge, quit your 9 to 5. But here's the hidden truth. The creator economy is entrepreneurial, and entrepreneurship requires emotional resilience, financial runway, thick skin, patient systems thinking. If you need guaranteed monthly income to feel safe, full-time creation may destabilize you mentally. There's nothing wrong with employment. There's something wrong with pretending stability is weakness. 3. Remote work reality. Remote work changed geography. You can earn in dollars while living in Nigeria. You can freelance on Upwork or Fiverr. You can consult globally. But remote income has 3 psychological costs. Isolation, inconsistency, self-management pressure. Nobody is watching you. Nobody is structuring your day. Nobody is forcing output. Freedom exposes discipline gaps. If you're not internally structured, remote work magnifies chaos. 4. Passive income is not passive at first. Let's kill a fantasy. Passive income is front-loaded effort. You build systems. You test. You fail. You refine. You optimize. Only later does it feel passive. Rental income? You manage tenants. Digital products? You manage marketing. YouTube ads? You manage consistency. Dividends? You needed capital first. There is no income without risk, time, skill, capital, or reputation. One of those five must be invested. 5. Volatility and identity. Digital income fluctuates. Ad revenue drops. Clients disappear. Algorithms shift. Markets crash. If your emotional stability is tied to monthly numbers, digital income can exhaust you. You check analytics obsessively, refresh dashboards, track views chapterly, calculate projections constantly. You become addicted to data spikes. But spikes aren't stability. 6. The attention economy trap. Your attention is currency, but you're also spending it. Endless scrolling, comparing, researching, watching others build. Consumption feels productive, but consumption without execution is disguised procrastination. Every chapter watching tutorials without applying them is emotional comfort disguised as progress. 7. The skill stack advantage. Here's what actually works long-term. Skill stacking, not chasing trends. Combine communication, sales, technical ability, financial literacy, emotional intelligence. If platforms disappear, skills remain. If algorithms shift, skills adapt. If markets change, skills transfer. The real asset is competence. 8. Building modern income without losing yourself. Here's a healthier framework. Stage 1, stability. Secure predictable income. Stage 2, experimentation. Test digital skills part-time. Stage 3, systemization. Automate what works. Stage 4, optimization. Scale without burnout. Not hype. Structure. The internet rewards consistency more than excitement. 9. Money speed versus character speed. Digital income can accelerate money faster than character growth. And that's dangerous. If you earn fast, but mature slowly, money exposes immaturity. Fast money amplifies ego, impulsiveness, poor planning, lifestyle inflation. Character must grow faster than income, or your ledger collapses later. We've talked about Chapter 1, identity in debt. Chapter 2, ambition and peace. Chapter 3, digital illusions and discipline. But there's something deeper. Money touches morality. Money tests values. Money exposes faith. In Chapter 4, we're going into ethics versus desperation, integrity under financial pressure, faith, and wealth, corruption, culture, and the true moral ledger. Let's talk about something most financial conversations avoid. Morality. Because money doesn't just test intelligence. It tests character. And character only reveals itself under pressure. 1. Desperation changes standards. When you're financially stable, integrity is easy. You can say, I would never do that. I would never compromise. I would never cut corners. But what about when rent is due? Your child is sick. Business is collapsing. Debt is mounting. Family is depending on you. Pressure introduces negotiation. Not with others. With yourself. You start saying, just this once. It's temporary. Everybody does it. And that's how the ledger shifts. Not dramatically. Gradually. 2. Is money evil? This question has existed for centuries. Some cultures treat wealth as suspicion. Others treat it as proof of intelligence. The truth? Money is neutral. It amplifies. If you are generous, money expands generosity. If you're insecure, money expands insecurity. If you are corrupt, money expands corruption. Money doesn't create morality. It exposes it. 3. Corruption, culture, and survival. In many environments, especially in places like Nigeria, people face moral tension daily. You may be offered a bribe at an under-the-table opportunity, insider advantage, manipulated contracts, inflated invoices, and you justify it. System is already corrupt. If I don't take it, someone else will. I deserve this. But every compromise has compounding interest. You may gain money, but lose self-trust. And self-trust is expensive to rebuild. 4. Integrity under financial pressure. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Integrity costs. Sometimes it costs promotions. Sometimes it costs contracts. Sometimes it costs opportunities. But corruption costs something deeper. It costs peace. You can't enjoy wealth fully if you fear exposure. You can't rest deeply if your success is unstable. And you can't lead confidently if your foundation is shaky. The strongest ledger is clean. 5. Faith, belief, and wealth. Now let's zoom out. Across religions and philosophies, wealth has always created tension. Some interpret teachings as anti-wealth. Others interpret them as pro-dominion. But here's the balanced perspective. Wealth is responsibility. If you believe in God, destiny, or purpose, then wealth must align with it. Because influence without grounding becomes dangerous. History proves this. Look at powerful individuals who gain massive wealth and influence without moral foundation. Power amplifies flaws. Leadership magnifies weaknesses. The question isn't, can I become wealthy? The question is, can I remain grounded while wealthy? 6. The ego trap. Money can quietly inflate ego. You start believing, I worked harder than everyone. I deserve more. I'm different. Humility fades. Empathy reduces. You stop listening. And ironically, that's when decline begins. Because arrogance blinds strategy, and pride resists correction. A balanced ledger requires humility. 7. Generosity and scarcity. There are two mindsets. Scarcity. If I give, I lose. Abundance. If I give wisely, I circulate. But generosity must be strategic, not emotional, not pressured, not manipulative. Giving beyond capacity breeds resentment. Giving within wisdom builds fulfillment. You are not required to solve every financial emergency around you. Boundaries are moral too. 8. The invisible audit. One day, whether spiritually, socially, or internally, there will be an audit, not of revenue, but of impact. Questions like, who did you exploit? Who did you help? What did you compromise? What did you stand for? What example did you model? Your children may not inherit your money, but they will inherit your patterns. If they see shortcuts, they normalize shortcuts. If they see discipline, they normalize discipline. Your ledger echoes. 9. When success tests you. Failure tests resilience. Success tests restraint. When money flows consistently, do you still pray? Do you still plan carefully? Do you still respect people? Do you still seek advice? Do you still question yourself? Or does confidence become arrogance? Sustainability requires self-awareness. We've covered Chapter 1, Identity and Debt. Chapter 2, Ambition and Peace. Chapter 3, Digital Illusion and Discipline. Chapter 4, Morality and Pressure. There's one final chapter left, and it might be the most important, because knowledge means nothing without design. In Chapter 5, we build the actual life and ledger blueprint. Personal financial structure, emotional structure, relationship, structure, growth systems, and how to balance wealth without losing yourself. We've audited your identity. We've questioned ambition. We've exposed digital illusions. We've examined morality. Now we build. Because awareness without structure becomes inspiration. And inspiration fades. Design is what sustains. 1. Your life is 5 accounts. Think of your life like 5 core accounts. Financial capital, emotional, capital relational, capital physical, capital moral capital. Most people only monitor one. Financial. But imbalance in any account creates instability. You can't withdraw endlessly from health. You can't neglect relationships indefinitely. You can't compromise morals repeatedly. You can't suppress emotions permanently. Eventually, the system crashes. 2. The 40-30-20-10 framework, personalized. Here's a structure, not rigid, but intentional. 40% stability. Rent/mortgage, food, utilities, core obligations. 30% growth. Investment, skill development, business expansion, assets. 20% life. Experiences, travel, enjoyment, family time. 10% generosity and margin. Giving, emergency, buffer, unexpected needs. This isn't just budgeting. It's value allocation. Your spending reveals priorities more honestly than your words. 3. Build a financial runway. Before you chase scale, build stability. At minimum, 6 months emergency fund, clear, high interest, debt, insurance, protection, basic investment habit. Not flashy, but stabilizing. Digital income is powerful, but volatility without runway creates anxiety. Security creates confidence. 4. Design your ideal week. Not just your income goals, Your week. How many chapters do you want to work? When do you rest? When do you train your body? When do you connect with people? If your current income structure makes your ideal week impossible, then your structure needs redesign. Wealth without time ownership feels incomplete. 5. Relationship agreements. Money tension destroys relationships silently. So be proactive. Discuss. Income expectations, saving goals, debt, transparency, lifestyle, desires, support boundaries. Clarity prevents resentment. Silence breeds assumptions, and assumptions compound like bad interest. 6. Emotional regulation system. Financial stress is inevitable. What matters is your response system. Build daily quiet time reflection habit journal or audit moments mentorship or accountability. If your nervous system is constantly activated by money, your decisions will become reactive. Calm people make better financial decisions. 7. Growth without burnout. Sustainable growth requires cycles. Push season, stabilize season, rest season, reinvest season. Nature works in cycles. So should you. Constant grind leads to diminishing returns. Strategic intensity beats permanent pressure. 8. The 10-year perspective. Zoom out. In 10 years, do you want more money but fragile relationships, more status but poor health, or balanced advancement? Time compounds everything. Good habits, bad habits, debt, investments, bitterness, gratitude. Ask yourself, if I repeat this exact year 10 times, will I be proud of the outcome? 9. The final audit questions. Before you close this video, ask yourself, am I earning in alignment with who I want to become? Is my ambition costing more than it's giving? Do I control my money, or does it control me? Would I respect myself if my income disappeared? Am I building something sustainable or impressive? Honest answers create powerful shifts. 10. The legacy ledger. At the end of your life, no one will read your salary history. They will remember how you treated people, how you handled pressure, how you carried success, how you responded to loss, what you modeled consistently. Money is temporary. Character echoes. Your children may forget the numbers, but they will remember the atmosphere. Were you anxious, present, generous, humble, aggressive, balanced? That's the real ledger. Build wealth, but don't bankrupt your peace. Scale income, but protect integrity. Chase ambition, but define enough. Because the goal was never just money. It was freedom. And freedom without structure collapses. One question, are you building both? If this shifted your thinking, subscribe. Share it with someone navigating financial pressure. Comment below, I'm building both. And start writing your ledger intentionally.